Welcome to the Lynn Community Television Show, a program which focuses on organizations working to make their impact right here in the community of Lynn. Here with me today, we have the Teresa De Gregorio and Antonio Gutierrez. I think I said their names correctly. I'm very excited to have them onto the program today. These guys are the leaders over at LCTV. LCTV is the Lynn Youth Outreach Street Advocacy program here in Lynn. It's a great resource to the Lynn community, and it's a great resource to people who are working to make a transition back and assimilate themselves into society. So we were talking about this program before the show, and I bet you we're going to talk about it after the show too. But first and foremost, let's talk about who you guys are, your roles there, and what you do. Teresa, let's start with you.
Well, I'm the executive director of LCTV. I am behind the scenes and the upfront person. I basically make sure our program stays up and running, but also I work with a lot of the girls that come in and try to find a positive way of life. And
Yeah.
I work with them and try to make their like follow in a path where, you know, I identify and empathize with them on how they live today to where they could be at, you know, tomorrow.
Right. Antonio?
My name is Antonio. Yeah, I am the what do they call it? Poster child. The poster child. I do, you know, the work. What consists of the work? You know, at times it's kind of hard to put a title on it. It goes from just a hi, how you doing with some of the young men, to getting a little bit more in depth and going into like the court advocacy, the community service program that we do, in working one-on-one, teaching these young men a new way of life, or before they get to that point. Most of our kids come through already, you know what I'm saying, in a certain lifestyle, in a certain way, not necessarily even a gang.
Right.
It's just the fact that they're making some decisions and choices that maybe they shouldn't. So I try to intervene from on the street to them coming to the office to just walking around. I've been, you know, it's been a blessing because pretty much the time that I've been doing this, you know, I think 95% of Lynn already knows
Who you are, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, you know, there's no doubt about it. When you see Antonio walking around the streets, you know what he's up to. He's advocating. He's trying to give these kids an opportunity to re-assimilate back into society, and that's what we're here today to talk about. It's the great job that these guys do. Now, I can't speak volumes enough about who you guys are and how you're perfect for this program. We were talking about our callings before the program, getting a little bit deep, you know, and like the whole God thing. But outside of that, you know, everybody kind of has their role that they play in society. And I think the most important thing to recognize over at LCTV is that your job isn't a job for everybody and anybody, okay? Anybody can show up and work in the mailroom. Anybody can show up and they can push papers and do data entry. Not everybody can do what you guys do. You're working with kids who have a history of violence or a history of drug use or gang-related issues. I mean, if I were to sit up here with one of these guys and explain to them, hey, this is what you need to do to correct your life, I'm sure they'd have some choice words for me. A guy like Antonio or a gal like Teresa can really identify with these guys. I want to talk about that and how that really helps you guys do what you do.
Well, first of all, we don't tell them what they need to do because we feel that they have, you know, their own decisions to make. We make suggestions, and we let them know what consequences they will face if they choose a decision that they've currently chosen. You know, a lot of our youth, they come to us in denial. Like, I've had a girl who, like, I reached out to. Our outreach phase is basically working with our youth and getting a connection with them, building a relationship towards being susceptible to taking our services, you know what I mean? So I had a girl, she was 14 at the time, and she was very reluctant to even talk to me. She would say, stay away from me, I don't want to talk to you, I don't want nothing to do with you. I said, okay, you know. and I continuously saw her, and I continuously like, hi, how you doing?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden she's coming to me, I need your help. You know?
And she knew where to get it.
And she knew where to get it.
So, I mean, how do you do? Because when I'm out in my day to day, right? I'm a people person, and it's like I like when people like me, you know. So I'm a people pleaser. It's not like I'm willing to make people uncomfortable. I mean, here you are, and you're making this girl uncomfortable. Hey, how's it going? Nice to see you. I don't want anything to do with you. Leave me alone. Okay, have a nice day. But because you did that, when she needed help, she knew where to go.
Right.
That's a big part of what you do. Antonio, let's talk about some of what, I mean, you got to deal with stories like this too.
You know, it's funny because it's one of those, just walking up. You know, I see a group of young men or whatever, and you know, and nowadays it's a little bit easier because they already know me.
Yeah.
When I first started out, like my first year it consisted of a whole lot of walking, you know, and just walking around the city. It didn't matter. I already kind of had an idea like what sections of the city,
right,
where to pop up. Between the shirt and the hat, of course, they started to see me more, and the more they seen me, the more curious they were. And it's, hey, what's up, guys, and just keep it moving. And hey, what's up, guys, and then hey, guys, how's it going? How's everybody doing? Everybody working? Who's working? Who's looking for work? And that kind of like breaks the ice. Hey, who's in school? Hey, why aren't you in school? And just breaking the conversation. Hey, you guys ball up. Do you play ball? Listen, this is what's going on. The drop-in center at the time, we were hanging around a lot, quite a bit around the Friday night drop-in center.
Yeah, it's a great program.
Yes, and you know what? With the amount of kids that were coming there, being able to have a conversation from one kid to like 10 kids just sitting around on the bleacher, having a piece of pizza and a bottle of water and just, you know, just kicking it and kind of get the conversation going, the dialogue per se. And I kept walking and just kept walking, and people started beeping the horn and pulling over and asking questions, and being able to build that kind of, not a reputation, but the rapport with the kids, you know. Like Teresa said, we don't tell them, listen, you can't do this and you can't do that and this is what you have to do. It's real simple. Not too many guys from my era, you know what I'm saying, are still standing.
Right.
A lot are deceased, a lot are doing time. Some of them got their lives together and moved on in life, you know. I've been blessed to be able to, at 51, still be standing and still have the passion and the love that I have for this work. It's not one of those things that I signed up for. I showed up and interviewed, and they said, I don't know what it is that you do, but do whatever it is that you do. And I don't know what it was, but okay. And I went with it. And to be able to have the dream of being able to say, man, I did something right in life.
Yeah.
And I always say it, I have a 9-year-old son. Anything I do in the next 5 years will be detrimental to his future.
Yeah.
Change must come, you know. So, you know, it's funny. A lot, everywhere I go, like a lot of these guys, they're like, yo, Antonio, you still doing this, man? It's like, yeah.
What are you doing?
Why not? What are you doing? What have you done, you know? And when you tell them, like, I'm still doing the same thing, same language, same attitude, same, you know,
yep,
they already know. And a lot of times I don't have to go out and look for them.
Right.
They come looking for me. Mm-hmm. Yo, can I come see you? What's going on? Nah, I just want to stop by, man. I got something I want to talk to you about. To have that, when you know this young man's background, that's huge.
That's gold,
That's
man.
huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. So, you know, I've been fortunate, the city, you know what I'm saying, and just the communities have embraced us, and they have shown us love. They've opened doors for us, you know.
I think that on a communal standpoint, at the city level, everybody sees the value in Lysoa. What's important is that the youth see the value in Lysoa, okay?
Yes.
And understanding that, hey, we all make mistakes, okay? Like, and that's part of life. That's how you get better.
Some of us more than others.
Yeah, some of us more than others. I mean,
Yes.
we might be numb to that type of mistake that we'd be making. But I mean, here's a group of people who are out there and they're advocating, and they're there as a resource to help you transition back into society, so that you're not looking over your shoulder, so that you're not, you know, you're not out in the street, you're not trapping, you're not doing what you need to do to satisfy other people. You're only doing what you need to do to satisfy your own life and the people around you. Family has always been like a really big thing for me, and it's, I mean, like really is the only reason why I've been fortunate enough to live the life that I live. You know, a lot of people at home probably watching, this guy in a tie, white kid, and he's probably had a lot of positivity in his life. It's not necessarily the case. I've had a lot of tough times, but I've always had somebody who loved me to help pull me out of it. And essentially, that's what you guys are. You're a person to love. I mean, some of these kids, they don't have that. You know, they don't have that influence, and you guys get to do that every day. That's a tough job.
I come from my parents. I came from a great home. Don't get me wrong. My parents were great. They did the best they could with what they had. It was a choice for me. It just wasn't like I didn't want that.
Yeah.
And I chose the street, of course, coming from New York. You know what I mean? And I'm not even from Lynn.
Well, how old were you at that time?
What, when I started the whole...
Yeah.
Oh, God. About 12 years old.
Is it me, or is it just that time? I think that a lot of kids are looking to rebel.
Oh, nowadays it's...
So Ben Franklin said, I think, hope he's not watching, he said that every generation brings forth a revolution. So is it like the kid is, no matter what his environment is, if it's positive, he turns, I mean, it just seems like in that time period of where your kid is, your kid's right around that age right now.
Yep.
The rebellion will happen. Is it something that we're always going to have to deal with?
It probably, and I think Teresa can
Go ahead.
Elaborate a little bit.
During that stage, it's the adolescent stage, so they're trying to identify
Right.
themselves, trying to find out who they really are.
So there's some psychology to this too.
Absolutely.
All right. How have you used that in your line of work?
Well, we identify with the fact that the age group between 12 and 17, they're trying to figure out who they are.
Right.
You know, what is their purpose in life?
You know what's funny though? They're never gonna figure it out until like late 20s. I mean.
Well, that's where the young adult stage comes in.
Right.
You know what I mean? But for me, it was like 12 years old, the same thing. My background.
Right.
You know, I came from a good family. You know, I just didn't feel a part of. I had to figure out where I belonged. So yeah, at the age of 12, I was the follower. I did what my friends did. And it got me deeper into some stuff that I shouldn't have been in. You know, but I had the opportunity later on in life to see that it wasn't working for me and I needed to make a change. Some of these kids, it takes, I didn't have what they had growing up. All these services that are put in place today,
unbelievable.
I didn't have what they had growing up.
Yep.
You know, and today I can take what I experienced and bring it to the table.
That's why we have stuff like this today.
Exactly.
Because you've gone through that trial and tribulation,
right?
And now you have the story to tell. It's like, you know, it's
scary.
It is.
It's what it is.
It's scary because
young people.
I mean, you know, whereas like you guys were when you were younger and you were going through this transition, you can't go to somebody, hey, I need to talk to you about this.
Oh no.
You know, I mean, who else do you talk to about it? And it's like this is stuff that you want to keep from other people. The youth that work with you guys, they feel comfortable enough to open up. Everything is completely confidential, and you don't. It's not like you guys are writing
anything.
Doesn't
go outside of the one-on-one that we have with them.
And you're literally just trying to afford them with the options that they've got.
Yes.
Social circles are a big part as to like who we are and all that stuff. So. And you look back in your life, so like maybe look at it by 5-year increments or 10-year increments, and you see like, all right, between 12 and 18, who was I hanging out with? What kind of person was I?
Yeah.
How do you get these kids out of the social circles that are affecting them?
Well, I think it becomes a choice for them. You know, they don't, and like you said, it's not like they go to anybody and say, listen, I need to talk to you. I know that a lot of the kids that are in school, they got school resource officers and their counselors and things like that. And 9 out of 10 times, they don't open up to them. You know, a lot of times kids come to our doorstep and it's like, listen, or they'll see me on the street and it's like, they're waiting for that one person to come up to them and say, hey, how you doing? And actually stop and listen Not the minute they open their mouth, let me tell you know what I mean? No, it's stop. And a lot of times all it is just listen to what they got to say.
Right.
And then not tell them what to do. It's suggesting, listen, maybe you might want to take a look at. I remember, and I always tell every single young man, my mother used to tell me who your friends are and I'll tell you who you are.
Right.
I did not realize that until way later in life. I was at a table in the drug trade and I looked around that table and that's when I realized exactly what my mother meant. Today, I can say, I'll tell you who my friends are.
Yeah.
Because it defines who I am. The people that I interact with. That doesn't make me better than, it just made me realize better choices in my life. I had to. Even listen, the lifestyle, I watch it. I see the cars and the chains and all the money and the videos and
It's
all
fake.
that. It's all, you know.
It's fake.
But what happens when you go away to jail? You ain't bringing your Bentley or your car or your video or your iPhones or all that. That doesn't go with you. You sit in a cell by yourself or with a bunkmate and pray to God that when you go get canteen, it's there. Real
But
simple.
wait, where are the friends?
Exactly.
We're your friends.
Who's coming to see you?
Right.
Who's writing the letters? Because the letters, they come in weekly, then once a month, then every couple of months, and then they're gone.
That's right.
And then you come home and the first thing they want to say, hey, what's up, man? Dude, I would have, no. You know what I'm saying? I mean, for me, it was hard to understand that until I finally got off the streets, until I finally got my life together, until I finally realized that, you know what, I wasn't such a bad person. I made choices, and I lived with those choices. I made different choices today.
That's the realest part of any of this. So we're talking about, you know, the lifestyle and what people are chasing, and it's fake, okay? The idea, once you get to a certain point, you start to realize that the money and the things that everybody's after when they're young, it's a lifestyle that's unattainable, it's unachievable, it's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be that way. It's about love, it's about family. But the most real thing that you're gonna get are the choices that you get to make. And how many people tell you, I didn't have a choice? Yes, you did. You didn't want to make the tough decision. And here you are telling me about the situation where you're in a house, you're doing your thing, and you look around that table, and boom, you have an epiphany. And you're like, Mom makes sense. These are the people who represent me. And you didn't want that. You wanted something else for yourself. You wanted to make a different choice. Let's talk about choices. Teresa, I want to kind of like defer this one to you. When these kids come in, all right, a lot of them are explaining to you, you know, the obstacles that they're facing, why they can't do it, why they can't do it, why they can't do it. Is there a normalcy to it? Is there one thing that pops up more than anything else?
No, they're
It's a wide
different.
range of variety?
Right.
Okay.
But
So-
it just basically is the I can't, it's all fair.
So why, so they're fearful of what? Is it failure? Is it?
Right.
Okay.
They feel if they try something different, they're not able to succeed.
Okay.
And that's where we come in. We guide them, we help them. We motivate them. That's why we're like mentors.
Yeah. Mentoring, this is a trade that you absolutely need when society has grown to a certain point. We're working with somebody over at Center Board. They work with teen parents. They've got like a housing unit for them.
Right.
And they're trying to help them get their kids into school and try to be moms. And that's exactly what you need. So society's grown, okay? There are billions of people in the world today. And not everybody knows how to be human fully amongst a world of billions of people. And eventually you'll learn through trial and tribulation. And here you guys are, a perfect example of people who have made decisions. They've made good decisions and they've made bad decisions. But the decisions, the choices that you make, that's the realest thing that you get to do. That's your decision factor, good or evil. What are you doing? Make the hard decision. I mean, making the hard decision has always kind of led me in the right place. Would you, I mean, can you agree with that too?
Absolutely.
I mean,
I don't regret the choices that I made in life today. I mean, if it wasn't for the choices that I made then, it wouldn't have made the man that I am today.
Exactly.
You know, I no longer try to be something I'm not. I no longer making somebody else rich or buying somebody's house in some third world country. I no longer run the streets. I'm no longer eating out of garbage cans. When I lay my head down at night, I feel good about who I am and what I've done in the day. Even when the day is, you know, some of the choices that these young men make in the police department, make the choices that they make about, you know what, you break the law, you're going to jail. Nobody's getting rich anymore. And those that are, the ones that are below, don't even see it. They don't even see it. Yet you're still, you know, nickel and diamond, but somebody else is getting rich off of you. And the risk about it.
Right. That's the whole thing.
When I leave my house, I don't get that kink in my neck anymore.
Right.
I love the fact that I can look forward to what life has to offer, man. You know, it's unbelievable.
The message that is just being here, like right here. Okay, so choices. Those are the most important things. Don't regret your choices. Learn from them. Okay, very important. Take pride in who you are, but not too much. Okay, take pride in who you were, definitely, without a doubt. But be prideful for where you are.
Education.
Where you will be. Yeah. So that whole ideal about, like, you know, not having to look over your shoulder and really being able to look forward, that's the whole niche right there. I mean, you get it? I mean, you guys just jazz me up, man. I love what you guys do.
Come see us.
Yeah, we're going to be down. I'll be there. I'll be at the event. Without a doubt. They have an event. It's coming up in... May 7th.
May 7th.
5 to 7 p.m. Hey, come on down, check that out. It's the Arts After Hours and Italian Feast dinner show. So you can check out more information. I think artsafterhours.com has it. Guys, I want to thank you for coming on the program. I want to encourage you, keep the network open. Let us know anytime you guys are having events or if you guys are working on any type of continuous improvements. We'd love to get that out into the public. So look, you're a youth. You need some guidance. These guys are here for you. No judgments passed whatsoever. And if you don't know where they are, they'll find you, definitely. But real quick, I just want to make everybody aware, these guys are accessible. Lysoa, 298 Union Street on a lower level, Lynn, Mass. You can follow up with them via phone, 781-342-0580. They're also on Facebook /Lysoa Inc. Teresa and Antonio, guys, thanks for coming on to the program.
Thank you for having us.
That's it for the show here from the studio here at Lynn Community Television. I'm Sean Donahue, wishing you all the best.